I'm here with MMA trainer Jeff Mayweather with Pro MMA Insider. Jeff, first let's just ask you about The Ultimate Fighter. Is it a show that you're watching?
Ultimate Fighter?
The Ultimate Fighter. You were a coach on the show.
Yes, I was.
Do you watch the show?
Yeah, actually, I've been watching it, and but it's a lot more entertaining watching it and knowing the part that I was, part of, because actually we were just in the gym, and I knew nothing about all the stuff that was going on at the house and taking place in the house. I mean, I know only one scenario where the guys came to the gym, they were upset with one another about something at the house, and then they went at it. That's about it.
Right. So do you think the show accurately depicts the environment that you were part of there?
No, not really. I mean, because as a coach, don't get me wrong, as a coach it's totally different than what goes on at the house. Because you have no control over that situation. And I think a lot of these guys use the show to basically, hopefully, springboard, into maybe to get some type of notoriety that they probably wouldn't going to get no other way. Because I can't imagine, these guys being that animated every day, all the time. But when you got the cameras on you, you have a tendency, some guys have a tendency to go overboard. I don't know what they've been doing. I don't know if they have alcohol or whatever it is, but I just know that, it's overkill to me,
So now Julian, every year they always have the one guy that's crazy and overboard. That this year it's Julian. He's kind of portrayed as being, somewhat emotionally unstable. How is he to work with, and did you get any sense of that with him?
Well, I could tell that Julian was, the type that, he loved the camera, but actually, he's a very humble guy, very nice guy, but the one thing about him is that, he's a hard worker, but also, he was a guy that didn't have that much experience, so he took the show as, as a way to actually become somebody.
Right. What do you think, watching the show, what do you think of his behavior as far as in the house, and he kind of acted up?
Well, don't get me wrong, he has Tourette's. So, he told me that he has Tourette's. So, now knowing that that's something that he actually has, that maybe he can't control it.
Right. Did you feel like you let him bang enough?
Huh?
His famous saying, just, I want to bang, bro. Let me bang, bro.
No,
Did you?
No, I don't know about that famous saying.
All right. So you touched on it a little bit earlier, but so you weren't really aware of all the drama in the house as the filming went on at all?
I had no idea. I knew that because in the gym is an environment where they come to work, and so basically that's what we did. I worked with Julian quite a bit. He wasn't amped up and animated like that at the gym, but like I said, it's a totally different thing when you have the comforts of UFC home and cameras in your face non-stop. You want to become someone.
Now, do you think Roy is accurately portrayed in the show?
Say it again.
Do you think Roy is as a coach is being accurately portrayed in the show?
Well, I think that Roy is actually getting a bad rap. Roy is. First of all, how can these guys even say something negative about Roy? Roy knows what it takes to win. He won the show. And Roy is, he's in the UFC. He's not trying to get in the UFC.
Right.
So it's one of those situations where, these guys, it's kind of like now with the boxers these days. Once they lose, they want to put the blame on somebody else. And Roy's not to blame. Roy's not to blame for any of these guys that lost because, I can't reveal the people that came to the show, but we brought top-notch guys, every week, to help teach these guys, and, it's almost like if I was a boxer, and you bring Muhammad Ali to the gym, you know, and and he's giving you advice on what you need to do and things like that. Or any of these great fighters, you know what I mean? Or even like today, I would say Mayweather, coming to the gym and saying to you, look, you need to do it this way. You need to do it this way. I mean, that's a dream come true for a young fighter. And that's one of the things that with Roy is probably he's more laid back in a sense because he's more like this. He'll tell you what to do, what you need to do, but he's not one of those people that if you don't really necessarily do it, that's really your fault. It's not his fault, because one thing that he always say is this. He would say, he would tell somebody something, and then immediately after he said, he would say, you got it? You understand it? And he say, because if you don't, come talk to me. So like I said, some of the guys on the show, kind of did to me what I call betrayal, when it comes to Roy, because Roy's a good guy, and like I said, I mean, he provided the best people, in the sport to help these guys. So I mean, you can't blame Roy for you losing.
And expanding on that a little bit, his training abilities and his work ethic even were, kind of questioned repeatedly on the show. Why do you think that is, and are you surprised that many on his team felt that way?
Well, I think it's this. I think that they don't realize that, the relationship with him and Dana is not as bad as they think. And I think that they feel that they're bad on my boy, that helps to become closer to Dana. But that's not the case. I mean, Roy earned the right to be in the UFC, and so basically it's one of those situations where, I know Roy personally. I work with him all the time. He's one of the hardest workers that, I've ever trained. I mean, I'm shocked. I mean, here's a guy that's, 50 pounds, 40 pounds, and I mean, he throws over 500 punches around. So, believe me, he works harder than any UFC fighter that I've ever trained.
Are there any differences that you see between young and up-and-coming MMA fighters and boxers?
Well, I don't really know the MMA sport that well. I mean, so I can't really say, because I mean, some of the techniques and things like that. I mean, I don't know if they're good or bad. Somebody may say, you got him in a triangle. I'm like, okay, I don't know what that is, but he's doing something right. So, but I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, to be honest, now I'm starting to try to study it more and trying to actually, I'm never going to be a coach that actually teaches a guy how to do a triangle, how to do
Kimura,
triangle, a rectangle, whatever you call it. But no, I ain't never going to be one of them type of coaches anyway, I mean, but I'm starting to understand when I see, like when the guys on the ropes, on the cage, and they say, coming on, that, I don't really know exactly what that means yet, but I'm studying. And I think that means that's where you rest a little bit, you kind of like, trying to just survive, I guess, right? I don't know for sure, but I think.
I like listening to you struggle.
But no, I know one thing. There's one thing that I do know, that somebody yelled when we were in one of the fights, and it was so funny to me, right? And I said, I could tell a person to do that. He said, step on his feet. I said, yeah, that's good. Step on his feet. So that part was very funny to me.
All right, just a last question. Is it something you do again?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was a great experience. I mean, I felt that, I had good relationships with pretty much everybody on the show, and I think that behind the scenes, all this negativity and stuff that came about is just basically because, a lot of the guys, they just can't accept losing, so they want to pass the blame somewhere else.
All right, well, thanks for your time, Jeff.
All right.